Good evening, y'all. Welcome to the Spiritual Speakeasy, where the bar is always open and the spirits are always served. How are you guys doing tonight? You made it through New Year's. You made it through Christmas. We have our star kitty wanting to talk tonight. He says, "Hi, y'all." No, he doesn't. Not really. Get down. Get down. If you know, okay, take the piece of paper and get down. That's what happens when you have cats in the studio. Hey, Abby, how are you? Glad to see you on. Missed you. What's everybody doing? If you're on and you want to comment, let me know how your Christmas went. Oops, how your New Year's went, how everything went. Tonight we are, I've got Vanna. Sorry, my hair. I need to do a flippy thingy. Tonight we have Vanna on when she gets in. Hey, Bricky. She's going to be coming off the road in a few minutes. She's going to be joining us to, thank you. Jesus does love me. Jesus loves you as well. Thank you. She's going to be joining us. She had to make a trip out to the studio because they're fixing up Triple Flame. Yay for the new year. And so she's going to be joining, and we're going to talk about... What are we talking about? We're talking about 2025 and what a kind of a shithole year it was, and 2026 and how it's going to be better. Hello. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you. Just, let me know how your year was. Like, don't be afraid to comment. I won't post your name if you don't want it posted. I'll just read the comments without the names. I know for a lot of people, hi, I'm going to blow this app Mal. Thank you for joining us. 2026 is going to be a great year. It's the fire horse year. We're going to come in like flames and we're going to burn through our shit. We're going to work through things. It's going to be a great year. 2025 was the weeding out of things. People don't understand that. Where am I from? I am in Jefferson City, Missouri, capital city of Missouri, small town mentality. That's where I am from. Where are you from? RP. Where are you from? So for those of you guys that are joining me for the first time, I am a metaphysical and paranormal and jack of all trades type of play. India, well, welcome. That's a long way away. Our podcasts are very open podcasts, so discussion is very open. It's kind of like a chit chat type of thing. I like to get to know people. We talk about Mumbai. Gotcha. That is very far away. Thank you for joining us. We pride ourselves on being an open community, so there's no harsh treatment of anybody and anybody's opinion. And remember that anytime you comment positive or negative, it's a great thing. So it's all good. Anything you got to say. 2025 was super rough. It was on a lot of people. It was kind of the weaning out of the meek and the mild. It was the getting rid of things in our universe that we weren't willing to get rid of ourselves. And yeah, guess what? Universe and energy cleaned it out for us, which kind of sucked, because had we cleaned it out, we probably would have been much more gentle with ourselves instead of being as harsh. Hi, ice cream. But we weren't. And some of us weren't willing to get rid of the baggage and the shit that flew through, and universe took care of that for us, including some people and friends and family and things like that. And, that's okay. It is okay. I always tell people, remember, you hold the key to your own destiny. Thank you. We are so forgetful and complacent in removing negative things from ourselves. So, what is familiar, whether it's good or bad. I hate the words good or bad, but whether it's good or bad, whether it's positive or negative, if it's what we know. Thank you, Arvin. If it's what we know already, it's familiar and we're going to hang on to it. And that is part of the problem. We hang on to shit we shouldn't hang on to. And so 2026 is going to be the year that those of us that have cleaned out, will be able to move forward in alignment with our higher purposes and our higher goals. And it will be very fulfilling. So, with that being said, keep in mind that we do not have to subscribe to anyone else's energy. And that's a beautiful thing. So when we get to the point where we're done playing the games, we're done misaligning with people who do not have our greater good in mind, then we can move on for that. And we can move on very quickly. And some people say, well, I don't know how to move on. Well, then you're still attached to those old ways and those old vibrations. So when you get attached to those old ways and those old vibrations, you're stuck in the old pattern. And the trick is not to be stuck in the old pattern. The trick is to just reject that vibration that someone else wants you to vibrate at and move on from that, if that makes sense. So, if there's things that you don't want to do, there's things you don't agree with, then it's as simple as saying, I no longer want to vibe at that vibration rate. I want to be better or higher or move on. So I'm disconnecting, and using strong words like rejecting and rebuking are not only used in Christian movements, but they're also used in identifying what needs to be gotten rid of, taking the trash out. So I no longer align myself with that which no longer serves my higher good. And I have the power to walk away from it. And walk I will do. And when I walk away from that vibration, then I'm now vibrating at a higher level. And when you vibrate at a higher level, then things go much better for you. So remaining passionate about the things that you want to do, finding your hobbies, and there's a difference between obsession and being passionate. But being passionate about that and following it all the way through, not because you want glory at the end or you want fame and fortune at the end, but because you want to finish it, because you're excited about it. That keeps us alive longer. It keeps us young longer. It keeps us happy longer. And not just endorphin and enkephalin happy, but actually, or dopamine happy, but actually happy, because we now have something that we can look forward to. And that is the whole purpose of this. 2026, I will be listening to my strong guides more. Yes, yes. And that's what we have to do. We have to listen. We have to use our ears. Remember our parents telling us, really use our ears. Don't let it go in one ear and out the other. Really listen, hear what's being said. And oftentimes we have warning signs and we have things that come up. We just choose not to listen to it. Because we're stubborn, or because we're Aries, or because, we don't trust ourselves. In 2026, we're riding in on the fire horse. Trust yourself. Trust your footing. Trust your seat. Trust the wind. Trust that the horse has got you, because that is going to be your guide. You're opening that door and you're coming in blazing. So your plan better already be made, and it better be suited for your higher source, because if it's not suited for your higher source, then it's not going to happen. So first of all, how many of you guys had a shitty 2025 defined by your own shittiness? I'm not going to define that for you. Type in a 1 if you had a shitty 2025. Type in a 2 if you had a great 2025. Kind of anxious to see how many people had a good and a bad 2025. Mine was I would qualify it as being semi-rough. I would not use the word bad. It was semi-rough, and there were more rough areas than positive areas. But about May, June, I turned it around. Yeah, I'm hearing you. We've got one person who's honest and said 1 so far. Mine was a 1 in the first half. My second half, I just decided to jump and have more faith and know it was going to be better, and it has been. Been through some rough times, but I think I was vibrating at the wrong level during those 2, and I let them get to me, because remember, people have the choice to do what people are going to do, and we have the choice to react or respond. And sometimes I reacted when I should have thought more about my response, and that created more trauma for me and everybody around me. Sorry, it is the spiritual speakeasy. I'm not sure which kind of wine I'm drinking tonight, but it's really good. Compliments of small batch, Manitou Springs, Colorado, Manitou Winery. What else? So how many of you out there have put in your New Year's resolutions? I hate the word resolutions. New Year's motivations, New Year's manifestation. Have any of you guys done that already? Anybody? I'm betting maybe 1 to 2 people on right now that have done that, waiting for responses. Yes. So how many, without posting your name, how many of those are realistic? Because we say things like, okay, I'm going to go to the gym 5 days a week. I mean, for years, that was like, I'm going to work out, I'm going to lose 5 pounds. Is that realistic? I mean, it could be if I chose to eat better. But like I had, probably a cup of snacky mix before I came online. So obviously that's not going to happen. And I've been eating sugar cookies and all the crap that I made over the holidays. So, realistically, what is your motivation? I would like to see people give up fear. If I could motivate anybody to do anything, I would try to open the door so that people could not be fear-based. Weird, right? But so many people live in fear and are driven by their every move in fear. And that to me is it's scary. Like, it's not fearful, it's scary. Because when you're in fear, you can't create. You are in a standstill. You're in a box. So to me, stepping out of fear and having the faith in yourself and learning that even if you screw up, it's not a bad thing. It's a learning experience. It's a learning opportunity. And that's a big thing. Like, if you can learn something in the year and not repeat it again, or repeat it correctly, that's even more amazing. To me, that's even better. Like, learning things is important. So that's not a negative thing. So even if you jump out of fear and you take a leap of faith and you think you screwed up, it's probably not a screw up at all. I mean, it's probably the best thing that could have happened to you, because you learned from it and you evolved from it and you became a better person for it. So think in terms of entering 2026 with how many new things are you going to try? How many fear-based things are you going to let go of? That to me is more realistic than I'm going to lose, 5 pounds. I need to lose, 20 pounds. But is it going to happen? Not unless I change the way I eat. And whoa, that's tiny. Shit. Hi, Van. Hi. Oh my God, damn. Those are tiny little squares. I don't know what to do.
I think we look good. There we are. Well, there you are.
There I am, but there you're not. Let's go back to, oh, that's even worse. How did I get two on there?
I don't know, but you're gonna have to teach me how to do all this stuff.
There we go. Try that. Well, that's not bad. Um, let's try this one. Ooh, but that's not bad.
I don't know. It's kind of cool. It looks like she's
There we go.
bouncing us.
There we go. That's not bad. That's better. That's better. I wish I could put them to the bottom. I don't know how to do that. Dude, I'm learning. I'm learning. It's like, you're the only one on and shit goes bad. You're like, oh shit.
I understand. Yeah, that used to happen to me on the radio, but I would just be like, whatever.
I'll sing a song and move on. Move on. So we were talking about 2025 and how many people had a shit year as opposed to how many people had a great year. What constitutes a shit year? Because, even a shitty year is a learning experience, which makes it a great year. Right? Especially if you learned. If you learned, if you learned from the mistakes that you made or from the failures, then it's a great year because you won't repeat those again.
Yeah, well, I mean, hopefully that's what hard lessons are there for, especially the ones that are reoccurrent. So it's just like, the universe is going to just keep shoving that down your throat until you go, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
And
We also talked about the fact that we can vibe at whatever level we choose to vibe at. So if you're vibing at something that's not acceptable to you, you're not happy where you are, you're not happy in your red, you can renounce, reject, rebuke, whatever word you choose to use, turn the key, lock that door, and vibe at a higher level.
yeah, but I would say that there's two things that kind of go along with that as a caveat. So number one is recognizing at what you're vibing at, right?
Right.
Like, having awareness is usually the first thing.
That's a big thing.
And then after that, accountability for I do have responsibility of how I'm going to react or, be impacted by the situation. And then you making a conscious decision on, yeah, I want to vibe higher. Like I want better things or whatever that may be. And then, taking the steps to ensure that you don't get sucked back down into those lower vibrations.
Right. Right. And that's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge because it can happen.
Uh-huh. It
People
really can.
Whoa, that didn't work at all. Sorry. I'm still playing.
That's okay.
I'm like, whoa, that was bad. And knowing like I watched this whole series the other day on there's a dude out there who claims, and I'm not saying I'm for him or against him. I like to watch him. He claims he channels an alien named Bashar. And when he talks through, or Bashar talks through him, one of the things that he says, and this is also like a Barbara Cannon thing, it's a QHHT thing, is we don't have to accept anything. We can choose to vibe out of that level. But that means you have to be aware of where you are, like you said. You have to be aware of where you want to be. And then you have to be aware of how do you raise your vibration, period.
That's true.
And one of the ways, a foolproof, both of them claim that the way to do this is by being passionate about things, not obsessed. And I've already clarified there's a difference in obsessions and passions.
Sure.
Being passionate about it for the purpose of being passionate about it. Getting into it and thriving and loving what you do, not for the outcome, not for the attention it's going to give you, not for the fame and fortune, but because it fucking makes you happy.
Yeah, that's like a state of flow. And really what you're kind of describing is just kind of like where you are when you're in a state of play, right?
Right.
Because it's like, it's highly active. It's completely enthralling. And at the same time, you're being overly productive, but there's no, like, you don't feel drained from it. It just keeps feeding you and nourishing you, and that's a really great thing. Obsessions, though, are, you're right, they are incredibly different because,
Mhm.
well, their impact on you, like, their behavior, the behavior people display when they're obsessed, right, comes across completely different. And I guess the best way to give like an analogy for this is just like, okay, so like if we are musicians, right?
Mhm.
And you and I are performing a song together, right? Well, hopefully we're playing together. You play a song, right? It's a state of play. But there are states of obsession. Like, and I guess the best song I could give to you would be like Phantom of the Opera, right? That's that type of like, it
Mhm.
was possessing and consuming him instead of
Right.
him playing it. And I think that that's probably the best way to distinguish between passion and obsession. Obsession plays you, passion you play.
Right. And that's a great way to put it, and I'm glad you clarified that because, like, so many spiritualities and I even hate to use the word religion, but religions focus on true religions, not cults, will focus on the fact that we have to be careful. There should be no attachments, right? We should not attach to materialistic things, people, places, things, ideas, to the point where we can't walk away when we're wrong. We can't admit that that was like a bad choice or a bad path. And sometimes we stick with things because it's familiar, right? You can be beat every day, and if it's familiar, you'd rather not leave that because you might get something worse. And that's familiar, and that becomes attachment rather than something that makes you happy,
Mhm.
something that is you're passionate about. In 2026, riding in on the fire horse, we've already fucking eliminated the shit. You should have. 2025 was the elimination year. You should have cut those ties. Not too late. You can book appointments with your fellow workers, um, and get those attachments cut. But we need to cut those cords really quickly because we're in 2026 right now. So it's time to move. We're moving and we're going to move at top speed. So, get your get on your saddle and get ready cuz it's going to be a ride.
Yeah, it is. And I really liked the way so like I got to help collaborate on a newsletter over the weekend, which was a lot of fun. And
That
then
was a
I
great
did get to learn
newsletter.
about the fire horse. And yeah, I was really excited to meet that energy. And I love that it is such a graceful and powerful being, and that it moves decisively and with passion and with drive and aggression for sure, but definitely not indecisiveness.
No.
So, and
No,
there's
you're going to get
yeah.
bucked off if you're indecisive.
Or
You know.
well, the horse would break its ankle. Like
Yeah. Or you're going to pull up on that rein to stop the horse and you're going to go flying.
That's true too.
you know and that's why I said we are in control of our own keys. We shut and lock or open any doors we choose to shut, lock, open, board shut, close off, brick over, anything we want to do with that door. We are in charge of it. There is no other god-given person who can put us in a state where we are not in control.
I think that's a really important and powerful statement because and it's a really, I think it's important to discuss basically because um I think that when we get in situations where we don't really feel like we have any options, where somebody has power over us and things like that, it is important to remember that we do actually hold the power. We are allowing that person to have power over us. We don't have to give them that power. we could take that away from them at any point in time. But for some people, that can be really challenging to recognize. You know what I mean? Because it's not in their nature to just take the reins, if you will. And so a big part of that also is the permission piece. You need to give yourself permission to take your power back,
Mhm.
right? And to wield it the way in your highest good,
And
right?
trust your decision making. I mean, I see that, and I'm going to go on to Hellcat in just a minute. We trust when we've had a past, a checkered past, anything that's happened negative, right? And we've made, excuse me, bad choices or whatever it is we've done. We tend to look at ourselves and go, okay, maybe I'm not worthy of love. I'm not worthy of this. I'm not worthy of that. But we also question our decision making process because in that relationship, someplace along the line, we heard numerous times, you can't do this without me. You're not capable. You're stupid. You're this, you're that. And so many demeaning triggers that have been told to us, right?
Mhm.
But understand that that is that, and this is a strong statement, that was them and their character defects. That
Yes.
is not you. That is them imprinting, well, this is how I feel about myself. So
Mhm.
I'm going to make everybody around me feel that way about themselves because of misery loves company.
Yes, they're called projections, right?
Yes.
And so like it's not uncommon to hear, and I can't see the comments because I'm on my phone. So
Yeah.
I
So Hellcat
apologize.
says, admittedly, I know it's not cool, but I'm willing to cut off my nose to spite my face. I want off this ride. I want to hop off of it, please. Mulligan, do over. And you can do that. You just, okay. So, and I'm going to go on with her comments because she's made several others. People say, how do you do that? And I have a simple answer for you. And it sounds so cliche. And Vanna's going to have something to say to this, I'm sure. You can question something and overthink something to death ad nauseum, and you will stay in your spin your entire fucking life. I shit you not. Bad language night. I'm just saying. You can spin and you can spin and you can waller and you can do it, or you can know because you've overthought this process for 20, 30, 40 years. You know, most of the people on here are at least 30. I know some of the people on here. So 20 years, I'll give you 20 years. You've overthought this subject. So your parachute and your backpack have been packed for at least 20 to 30 years. Fucking jump. Just do
Yeah.
it. Just do it. Trust and blind trust. You know that fake it till you make it. You look at yourself in the mirror and you go, I'm bold, I'm beautiful, I'm, whatever. I'm brave, I'm bold, I'm brave, I'm boobaful. The thing I'm always posting.
I always think of like SNL. I'm like going, I'm handsome and god damn it, I like me.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. So, I've got this little biker chick. She goes by Backpack. I'll give a shout out to her. She goes by Backpack on a crotch rocket, and she's real cute, petite, and she wears these like little latex suits with cat ears.
oh.
And she and her boyfriend, her husband, do this little skit where he goes, "I'm bold," and she says, "I bold,"
Oh.
and he says, "I'm brave, I brave, I'm beautiful, I beautiful." Like
Oh, that's
she's doing their
cute.
little happy thing as with the backpack on a crotch rocket. It hits me because it's like she's so tiny and she's so fragile, but yet she's making this leap to say this. You have to just jump. There is no easy way. I wish there was. For 62 fucking years, I tried to find an easy way. There is no easy way. Faith is faith. There are no atheists in foxholes. I've said that before. You can,
Yeah, no, I hear you, sister.
when you jump, that's when your faith comes in, and you're like, I'm either going to land on my back and go splat, or I'm going to land on my feet. And you got to trust the process. And if you've already got your guides and you've already got your support, then you're going to land on your feet. They're going to make sure every time you're going to learn from it, but you're going to land on your feet.
Yeah, and I find that, if somebody is having kind of like the same like narrative loop that keeps coming up and coming up, there's a couple of reasons for that. One of them is ruminations,
Yep.
right? Another one of those is and usually when it comes to ruminations, like I still find a lot of the common threads that connect them all. And it's like there seems to that person, at least to me, like when I've experienced it, I keep going over everything because I'm looking for a piece of the puzzle that I feel like I missed, right?
Right.
So I'm just like processing, and it
Over
takes
and
me a
over
long
and
time.
over.
Well, but my main thing is usually when I find myself, and thankfully I haven't been in a position like that recently, I'm scouring to see like what did I do wrong?
Mm.
Like where did I screw up? And
Yeah.
a big part of me putting on my big girl panties, if we're going to be nasty tonight, then I'll just be nasty.
Be
Um,
nasty.
but yeah, so no, then I mean, was me recognizing that, I mean, without ego, because I generally don't deal with a lot of ego, but sometimes the problem isn't me.
No, most of the time, you know what? Most of the time it is not us.
Well, yes, I mean,
Well,
I know that. Thank you, Julie.
no, I don't mean us. I do mean us, but really it's not us because like we take on a lot of shit. And when you think about it, like it's not our story. It's not our emotions. It's not our energy. It's not our issue. You watch people, okay. So the country is very divided, and I don't do politics on this show at all. I will not get into religious wars or
Do you hear
culture
that
wars.
crackling?
Uh-uh.
I did. Huh. Okay. Go ahead.
That's
Sorry.
weird. Pay attention to it, though. It might be important. It's a sign, right?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like you talk and then like for the most part, like you're really audible, but every once in a while there's like this like
Huh.
popping sound.
No, you said that, and then I just heard it. That's weird. Okay. Maybe I'll stay back from the mic, and we'll see if that helps. I'll move my phone away, too. Maybe that'll
You
help.
might want to check the wire. Do you have like a plug-in
No,
mic?
no,
Okay, that's weird.
no. And it could be a feedback loop because my husband probably's got it on like in the kitchen.
Oh.
So, I mean, sometimes it'll crackle. I don't know. That's weird. Now, where was I going?
Yeah, I apologize. I totally interrupted you.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Um, but yeah, we were just talking about the those pieces that we're trying to find and the permission piece, and then and that sometimes it's not our fault, and it's like
Yeah,
there's nothing that we can do to modify our behavior because quite literally nothing will be good enough. Like if that person, whoever you're interacting with, has a can of worms that they're terrified to deal with, so they're going to keep like putting them on other people's plates.
they're going to
And
project. It's going to
they
be,
are. And about the only thing that you can possibly do in that situation without getting, a face full of shrapnel is you have to stand back. You got to create distance, and you have to let that person confront their own stuff, which
Mhm.
is terrifying to them. So
Sure.
like, if they start to become like more if they're just acting out more, if they seem to be like being more desperate and more vicious in their behavior, it's probably because they're terrified to deal with their own stuff.
That's right. And pushing away. It's human nature that when you're scared of something, you push it away.
For sure.
If it looks like you or it mirrors you or mirrors where you want to be and you're not there, you will push it away because it's too much.
Mhm.
And so understand that you're going to piss some people off either way with either decision you make. So make the decision that's best for you. If you're not vibing with somebody, if they're doing things you don't want to be a part of, then step aside.
Mhm.
Because chances are they're not happy either. And like to me, it's easier to walk out the door than it is to fight about it. Like why am I engaging you in something you're not going to understand if I'm vibing higher than you and I'm refusing to come down? And clearly your ego is 100% in and my ego's 25% out, which is still giving me 75% permission for ego. Why am I battling this with you? My opinion isn't going to make you change your mind. if you're set on your ways.
Right. But look at what you did there though, Julie. You got objective, okay?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I know, but that's something where again, you were like, look, I had to take 25% of my ego, my defensiveness out, my, that's the first thing that's going to get triggered in anybody
Well,
and
yeah,
especially
you
when you
can
see them defensive.
you can react or you can respond.
Or you can just sit there and think about it
But
and
that's a
just be like,
response too. That is a
yeah,
response. That's
it
not a
is.
reaction. That's a response.
It's a response, and I am like, I don't I'm not perfect yet, but like, I hope to always be able to be operating from a position of response rather than reaction, because when you do react, which all mammals do it, no
Oh,
fingers are being pointed, but it's like when somebody is in that energy, unfortunately, that's when the other person has already won.
right.
Especially if you're dealing with somebody who only feels satisfaction, like they only truly like calm down and you see peace in their face when they've hurt you, they've made you cry, or they've made you yell, or they've made you do something like out of anxiety, and then they feel like they're having an impact on you. You know what I mean? That's when they feel
Mhm.
like they get a rush of adrenaline because they recognize the power they have in this situation. So
Right.
objectivity is really the only solution to that.
Right. You have to be. I mean, you can choose not to be. You don't have to be. You can be whatever you want to be.
It tends
But
to be more beneficial if you choose objectivity.
yeah, and I tell my clients, I third party it like you're the owl sitting in the tree. Like
Yeah.
step out of that, disassociate. I hate the word disassociate because in mental health it has a different meaning. But in spirituality, disassociate from disengage is probably a better word. Disengage as the interactor in that situation, the active interactor, third party it and view it, and then interact as the viewer.
Uh-huh.
And disengage as being right in the middle of the battle, because if you feel like you're in fight or flight, you're going nowhere. Like you're just destroying your immune system and everything, and you're reacting based on past response as well. And that's not a happy place to be. 2026 is not the place
No.
to be for reactionary responses.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm not exactly what to expect in 2026, but I like, after, what we've all endured like worldwide in the last, like decade, really. I hope that like, things just get a lot better for all of us. And that, and I mean, because
whoop.
it was what you call like a tower moment, right? It
Mhm.
was just the final culmination of, the end of Game of Thrones. Who
Yeah, it
knows?
was. We lost you on camera. Are you like
I saw that it went out, but now I see us back up on screen and I don't hear
okay,
the crackling anymore. So
cool.
that's good.
That is good.
We were
Um,
getting paranormal interference. That's
we
what
are.
that
I'm sure we
was.
are. I'm like trying to figure out where it's coming from because right now I'm not seeing you, but I can hear you fine. So we're going to keep going. Hellcat says people find the devil they know is better than the devil they don't know. Absolutely. That's
Of
that
course,
familiarity.
for sure. There's
That is.
comfort in knowing what to expect.
She says, I've had that attitude for years. And let me tell you, I don't even have to have it conversation. I don't even have to have a conversation with myself anymore. It's just autonomic. I'm out and done. Right. Peace. Peace is first and foremost for me anymore. Not that I don't get worked up. Don't get me wrong. Whoop. I think we lost Vanna.
I know, I'm right here.
Okay.
It says that I'm in the show and that everyone can see and hear me. Hello,
Good.
everyone.
I'm not seeing you, but that's
Except for
okay.
Julie.
Except for Julie, who for some reason's in blackout mode, but that's okay. We just go on. I mean, yeah. She goes on, hang on. That's my mom. We can both be really easily upset about a situation. She reacts completely frantic and fires up the whole anthill. I react now in a different, calmer space. Beautiful. Beautiful. That's where you need to react, is in calm and peace.
Mm-hmm.
Because
It definitely shifts the dynamic, right?
Oh, it's so hard to fight with somebody. It's so hard to engage with somebody who's just like, I learned in mental health a long time ago. People in mental health on an active locked psych ward are not always pleasant. And you got called a lot of names, that in the prison. Like, you got not only called a lot of names, but you were told all the different various positions and things that you could do things with.
Oh, sure.
Some of them were very creative. I had never heard of them before.
Yes.
And I would be amused, and I never let it get to me. And we lost nurses that would come in and their first day, literally their first day on the floor without backup, and they would quit. And you're like, why did you quit? And it's like, well, they told me I was a, white trash, piece of shit, ugly motherfucker, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And that there's nobody that want me. And I'd be like, who holds the keys?
Right.
Like,
I know that is a really interesting thing because it's
like,
just
I
kind
got
of,
the keys and I got the Harley and I got the car, and you're behind bars getting beans for every meal. Let me think about that one, like, you hold the power, you hold your own key.
well, for sure. And there's a lot of wisdom in that. And absolutely. And I mean, so it makes me wonder in that particular situation. I'm like, yes, no, you have a beautiful solution for that because I would feel the same way, right? I'd recognize, I'd be like, first of all, these people are in a really horrible position. Some of them made really bad decisions to get
Yes.
here. Some of them were set up. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot going on in this
Sure.
little space. So, but it's also like those people that like they don't know me. They know what I show them. And if I show them that I'm not going to be pushed around, that I have a backbone, and that if I respect them, they should respect me back because they could have a pretty shitty day because of me.
Absolutely. Oh man, absolutely. Absolutely.
I'd be like, we a dance party, or we can make sure that everybody's going to sit in their room.
Yeah.
What game are we playing today?
Oh
But
yeah. Oh yeah.
it's one of those situations though too where I wonder for those particular nurses if like they just couldn't handle the pressure of that type of aggression coming at them. You know what I mean? Or maybe they don't have that sense of self
I think
to
it's sense of self.
recognize.
I think
Okay,
it's
there we go.
trauma, because I think a lot, I mean, you're in that field, not nursing, but you're in healthcare, mental health. A lot of people come to serving others in a mental or healthcare situation because they have had trauma themselves.
Oh, for sure.
And obviously, being an enabler is a good start, right? Like, most nurses start as enablers, because we're going to save everybody, right? We pick up all the puppy dogs, the stray dogs in the world, the stray cats, stray people, stray everybody,
Well,
until
that's
we
because suffering really hurts us.
yeah.
And then we also have to learn the hard lesson that, if you're trying to help an animal who happens to be caught in a bear trap, they are going to be vicious. They
They
are
are.
going to scratch you. They are going to bite you. And
Mhm.
it's going to take a long time to deactivate their neurological overdrive,
Yeah.
really, because they're in their fight, flight, and freeze. But also, I mean, there's that aspect of it. But as far as us growing as healers, in addition to the fact that suffering for us to encounter is distressing in the sense that we experience it differently than other people do, right? We know that if we make this person feel better, we'll actually feel better,
Mhm.
right? And so that's kind of our drive for that. And then you say, well, enabling, right? But that's, you know since a lot of us, I don't really think that there's any mammal or human being that's like immune or
No,
has never experienced trauma.
no, I would
It's
say
just how
not.
they process it, right? Um, but I think that, enabling comes from the survival stance of fawning. And then, you have to learn how to work with that. You have to be like, okay, either it's a power over or a power with, right?
Right.
And that's a part of just learning who you are as a healer. And all of us learn these things. Now, are they easy lessons? Hell no, none of it's easy.
No. And
None of
nobody's
it's
saying
easy.
this is an easy walk. No.
No.
And the jump with the parachute is the hardest thing you're ever going to do.
Especially if you have bad knees. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, because landings are rough. And man, I got circles. I just looked. I'm like, Buffy.
I tried to put makeup on. I was at
Yeah.
the studio like decorating today. So you got, Vanna and the Raw.
This is yesterday. This is yesterday's makeup. Like, I'm so bad. Like, yeah, it was on point yesterday. Today's
Right
Sunday. I
on.
slothed off, like, I threw a shirt on and here we are. My podcast, I don't care.
There you go.
Tarot card number 16, the Tower card. So many people dread the Tower moment. I see it as an opportunity. It's going to come and it's going to happen. There it goes. Yeah, I
Who
mean,
said that?
that's Hellcat again.
Hellcat, you're amazing. I love tower energy too,
I do
but like
too.
I'm an Aries, so I'm like, kapow, let's do this thing.
Boom. It's like the tower with dynamite.
Yes. I'm like, I will bring it down and we will start again and it will be
That's right.
better.
Rebuild. Well, I never see the death card. Like, some people really freak out when they see the death card. I know so many people that just go, and these are, readers that have read forever. And they read rebirth, but they draw the death card and they're like,
That's because it's
and
change and transformation. I mean, but I'm,
I'm
I'm a
like,
reader, and I
yes.
probably the only time that I've had a bad experience with pulling the death card is when I pulled the death card for a friend, and it was like a New Year's reading or something like that. And yeah, that was a physical one that was
Yeah.
coming up, and I was like, though that was the only time I've encountered that as a reader, but that's the only time that I've ever been like, oh no, you know.
I went to a house. My husband and I went to a private residence to clean some things and some people. Um, and got in, not over our heads. It ended up perfect. It ended up the way it was supposed to end. But in the process, there was a teenager in the home that was, playing, and I'm not against this. I'm just giving details. So if those paranormal people that will watch this later will go, I can't believe she said that. I'm just stating fact. There's no opinion based on this. Playing with the Ouija boards and tarot cards, and she was a teenager that was, smoking weed and doing drugs and drinking and doing some shit. Haven't we all? Haven't we all? We
So she
love
was
it.
just an open window.
She was an open window and caused some things in the house. And unfortunately, it didn't hit her as near as hard as it hit a younger sister. A lot of chaos in the house, a lot of negative features in the house, a lot of things going on in the house that
Yeah.
are a draw to negative energy. So I took she gave me willingly her tarot deck over. Didn't want it after we had a conversation. And drew, like, I shuffled it, played with it, drew 3 cards. It was and I don't remember the order they were in, but it was the Hangman, Death, and the Devil. Took my deck out, shuffled it, and drew the same cards in the same order.
Hmm.
And there, there's a still, like there's a hush, where the other paranormal people in the room, aside from Chris, he's, well, that's pretty cool. Everybody else was like, and I'm like, no, this isn't that bad, really.
No, it's in sync.
It all goes together, man. It all goes together. And yeah, there was a quiet moment there. And then there was
I
the
love it
total,
when that happens with cards, though, when they're like, no, I said what I meant.
yeah, like, you can draw 50 decks and you're going to pull the same cards because it's the same fucking message.
Uh-huh.
Impervious, that's the word. In regard to what? Because I'm delayed in my comment. I'm so sorry. Help me.
Impervious to trauma.
To trauma, that could be. Um,
Or
yeah,
to change, because yeah, like really that's what the Tower card is, and
mm-hmm.
that's what the Death card is. They're just
Well, they are.
changes, big ones.
Well, they all are. I mean, when you think about the double card, like I always see that as, as above, so below. We're going to do a little shadow work. We're going to rock. Like it's not. People see that, and the people who don't understand metaphysics immediately think evil, demonic.
Yeah, and I mean, it's terribly unfortunate that go outside, Maggie. Um
I think Christianity has gotten involved in and overlaid their views on our tarot cards.
Yes, I agree. And those are just like it's misunderstood symbolism and mythos, and it's just sad because really, when I see the devil card, it kind of depends on the context. Really, I
Oh
mean, it
yeah,
could
it
be
can be
anything.
knowledge. It can be knowledge is coming your way.
It could be. It could talk about like a toxic relationship that you have with someone. It could even be a toxic relationship that you have with work or materialism or,
As
a
well.
particular substance, anything. Really. Again, it all just depends on what other cards are present and, what the topic is that's being discussed. But no, I don't see anything as totally bad. I just see it as okay, so we have, and sometimes it's just an obstacle, right? But like,
Right.
I at least know, I like to know about it than not know about it, right? Because then I
Oh,
can
for
at least
sure.
change my course.
Well, and things, we are very set, and this comes from that trauma response too. And I think it's very important leaving 2025 being, the year for change and the year to get rid of things in 2026 to go on your path and be firm in it. I think we have to understand as humans there are more than one meaning. There is more than one meaning to everything.
Oh, yes.
And we are so stuck in our box in our world of what we believe and what we see is the only way to view things. And I'm reminded of when I first started doing yoga, there was a book that I had to read, and I'm drawing a blank on the name of it. I have slept many, many months and years since then. But it was about the whole book was this journey of yoga, which was a weird journey, but it got into this guy is sitting over basically in India, and he is like the equivalent to our chief of police, and they don't have bars on their doors, they don't have bars on their windows. It's open pasture, and he has a reed. This is old school. He has a reed, and he's writing out his ledgers and writing out his notes, and a cow sticks his head in the window and eats the reed, and he is fucking pissed. And in walks this chick who they're arresting as being not only vagrant but loitering and all these different rules in this township of India. And she says to them, because she has studied under the great masters, "What was that to you?" And he said, "That was my pen. I dip it in the ink and I write my notes." And she said, "Is it not also a reed?" And he said, "Well, what's your point?" "It was, I made it into a pen, therefore it's my pen." And she said, "What was the reed before it was your pen?" "It was the cow's food." "And what do you do when you roll up a reed and you drink from the water? It becomes a straw." And the lesson is we can look at things in more than one way and see different things, and it's the same
Absolutely.
object.
For sure. And I love that. But unfortunately, there's a certain group of people, and they happen to be a large facet of the population, who are desperate for certainty. They're desperate for monoism. I don't want to say theism, but just monoism in general.
Yes.
Just like there's one definition
One
and there's
way,
only
and it's the
one
only
correct
right
way to do
way.
anything.
Yep.
And it's just kind of like that's just such a fear based and very narrow way of like looking at things.
Mm-hmm.
And also very preference oriented, right? It's
Right.
highly subjective, which is why so many people are grumpy. It's because things aren't going their way. It's just like, well, I didn't realize you were the only way. So like,
Right. Right. Like if you don't like the channel, change the station. Don't bitch about the channel.
oh, I know. It amazes me how many people keep their butt frozen in the same spot. And they're going to go, oh, I'm actually going to go out of my way, make extra effort, make a phone call, write an email, write a letter, do a text message, do a social media post. When it's just like, dude, you literally could have changed the channel. You didn't have to get that worked up. Do you really
Right.
feel like everything needs to have a verbal response or they need to know all of the internal dialogue in your head? If you're lucky enough to have internal dialogue, like
Right.
some
Well,
people don't.
I was going to say, I really believe some people don't. Like,
No, they don't. There's science that backs that up now. And it's just like, oh, bloody, well, that's fascinating. That's what it is. And I mean, it is because I don't know what it's not like to have like, a constant dialogue in my head helping me like sort things out.
oh, I talk to myself all the time. And I was in the grocery store the other day and I walked around the corner and I can't remember what I said, but I was saying something and this lady goes, excuse me? And I'm like, no, I'm just trying to remember my grocery list and where I was when I remembered I needed something and I can't remember. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah,
It had
no, I know
nothing
what
to
you
do
mean.
with you. Don't take it personal. I'm like, this is just about, like, what am I cooking for supper tonight?
I
Like,
know. It's like, did you just call me asparagus?
yeah, beans, beans, collard greens. People aren't always 100% impervious to being in traumatic situations, mental health. Why in the hospital when they're trying to help people? Well, no. And you have to remember that being in the hospital is a traumatic situation too.
For sure.
I mean, always. It's not a stress-free. I give up talk to text. It's making me goofy and drunk. Well, I mean, you're at the right place. You're at the spiritual speakeasy. Drink away. Drink away. So, again, like 2025 to 2026, if you haven't cut your ties, be thinking about them. Be thinking about what's healthy for you. Be thinking about what's not healthy for you. Be thinking about setting boundaries because, boundary people are like, well, boundaries are going to piss some people off. Your lack of boundaries is pissing those same people off.
Well, but more than that, it's also causing a lot of the word that we use is incongruence.
Yes.
And so that creates a lot of internal static that in and of itself becomes overwhelming. And it's one of the reasons why it's just, oh, hey, this relationship isn't working for me anymore. But it takes a lot of people, sometimes it takes a while to sit with that feeling to go, oh no, this is really that's something that's just not right for me. But it's just like if you are continually not putting the boundaries that you feel are best for you in place, then you're always selling yourself short. And then the other person is always going to be an arsehole to you because, like, there's needs that aren't being met.
Right. Right. And so I truthfully would rather piss somebody off by setting my boundaries and being me than look back and go, well, shit, I should have spoken up. Because either way, you're going to make them mad. If it's not, like I said, if it's not one thing, it's going to be something else.
Well, but then it's also important to ask like questions like why is their feelings on the matter more important than anybody else's feelings who are involved in the matter as well, right? Why
Right.
is there a hierarchy here of this person better have it their way? They better or what? Or what?
Or they don't have control. That's the or what. It's fear of losing control. 9 times out of 10, that other person wants control because they fear not having control.
But what does that mean, having control? Like
Well,
having control over what? Like, I mean, and again, like, I mean, it's okay to be in charge. It's okay to have in charge energy. It's
mm-hmm.
okay to be a leader, but like to be controlling maybe it's just I have a negative connotation to the word.
I
But
do
I mean,
too.
I'm
I do
just
too,
like,
and I'm a control freak. But but, but I also know that 90% of what we think we're in control of, we have no control over at all.
it will control to a large extent is an illusion.
It is. And
So
no response is a controlled response. I learned that in mental health. The lack of response is in turn and is an aggressive or a face forward response. If I choose not to respond to you, that's a very active response.
it is.
And some people
But
don't know that. Some people go, well, that's not a response. No, being silent or walking away or just looking at you is not a passive response at all. I'm very much in control when I choose not to respond.
well, and then also you're kind of describing somebody who is more empathic, than others, because like empaths, when we like distance ourselves, and I mean really pull back from a situation almost to the
Mhm.
point of straight up just disengagement.
Mhm.
um we're not playing games. It's not, this isn't like let's play chess. This isn't like if I do this, this person will feel this. We don't get at that point. We have differentiated ourselves because we recognized that is literally a waste of energy. We've tried everything that we possibly could from every bloody angle, and sometimes people are just wasting your bloody time, and you get to the point where you don't have a choice, so you're resolved within, but you're not doing it to be like, I hope that when I remove myself from this person, even if I never see him again, it'll devastate them. You don't even care what impact you have at that point because you're that far removed from it. It's
Right.
love and light. There's no aggression after that because there's literally nothing there.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Greg, Happy New Year's. Thanks for joining us. Hellcat says it's hard for people to be silent and alone in their thoughts. So I think they get other people involved as a way of distracting themselves, or they like to create drama because it's a fight or flight again.
Well, I agree with her. I do think that that's usually I have a kind of like a yes and that's part of it. I would say a big part of it. And for some
Mhm.
people it may be the whole pie, but like there's usually other things that are peppered in there. But
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
I agree.
Well, and I think in the world of in the world of keyboard warrioring, COVID made that so popular. I don't have to stand in front of you and be in person because I don't have the gumption to tell you off to your face. But I
Yeah,
can
I think
say things on keyboard that I'm not responsible for because you can't find me and you can't get me.
sure, if you take any sense of accountability away by adding anonymity, like, they've done social experiments. I forgot what they're called, but a particular artist, a performance artist, and I believe it was over in Europe or whatever. But basically, she put out on tables like anything from like feathers to roses to broken glass to like bike chains to guns, knives, whatever. And she invited all these people in and she said, you can do whatever you want to me. And they did horrible things to her because
They
they knew
should.
that they weren't going to be held accountable for their behavior. Once you take the accountability away from people, they'll feel emboldened to do anything that they can possibly get away with.
Absolutely.
That's at the end of
Absolutely.
the day, I mean, that's what it is. And I think that those places always existed on the internet. I just think that that particular emotional contagion spread like when COVID hit, and it just like, those small pockets turned into, what we have now. So
Well, and it's media fed. Look at your commercials, look at your stars, look at your music, look at your movies. It's being fed. It's being driven. The group mentality is being fed.
Yeah, I don't have a herd mentality. Boy, that's so hard for me. But I mean,
It
like, I'll
is.
listen to what the herd's doing, but like, I tend
I'm
to
not
see that
either.
there's a
If
lot of
everybody says
madness.
jump, why don't jump? One of the things I resented the most, and this is kind of like completely off the scale, but it isn't off the scale because we're going back into it in 2026 with all the viruses and everything they're announcing constantly on TV. The one thing that I hated the most in 2020, 2021 was on the radio. There was a constant. There was an every 15-minute death count and viral count, which was not even accurate. I'll put my
Wow.
life on that. It was not even accurate to get people to fear. And
Oh,
now,
yeah.
if you watch every TV show, game show, general TV, like your major, what do you call them? Major networks, CBS, ABC, NBC. Somebody is always saying, I love you and you're not alone. I love you and you are not alone. You do not have to go through this alone. The more you implant that, the more people start questioning, maybe there's an issue, maybe I shouldn't be alone. There's a reason it's worded the way it's worded. There's a reason that these people in authority positions are telling you that. They really don't give a fuck about you.
Oh, sure. No.
It is all about getting people to realize they have to be hooked in. They have to stay with the group. If you follow us, we love you. We have your best interest in mind.
Yeah, that's very culty.
It is. It's the weakening of society. It's brainwashing.
Wow. Well, I wish, more people would just read and do less washing of the brain. Like,
Yeah. You don't need to wash your brain. It's in a closed area. It doesn't need to be
no, it doesn't
like
need to be washed. No.
I love that. Secure your oxygen mask first and then tend to others. Yep. I can't tell you how many times I tell people that in reading. It's true. People only treat you the way you allow them to, and that, okay, people only treat you the way you allow them to treat you. Principle, plain and simple. That's that you choose who you vibe with and at what level.
Who said that?
That's Hellcat again. Of course.
Hello, Hellcat. Like, I have
Of
to figure,
course
I
it's
have to meet
Hellcat.
you, girl. You sound amazing. But I agree with you. And I mean, that's one of the reasons why I don't like, and I'm not trying to drag her through the mud, but I really don't appreciate the Mel Robbins let them theory.
No.
I'm like, what? Let them get punched in the throat? Let them get their hand cut off? Like, what do you mean, let them? I'm not going to let them step on my face. Are you stupid? Like, no.
No.
Drives
No.
me crazy.
Every time I do something that kind of goes against, like, the grain, because, for those people who know me, know I'm not a fucking Wiccan. If you're a Wiccan, you do your thing. I am not a fucking Wiccan. I
I'm not
work
a
with
Wiccan either,
left
but
and
that's
right hand, very fluidly. Sometimes you have to take a step back and go, like, okay, should I choose peace in this, or should I just do what I need to do? And my husband's response is always, sometimes you got to hit a motherfucker to bring you peace.
well, but no, I mean,
And I'm like, okay, that makes sense.
and I say that because, like, I do study predators. Like, I do
Mhm.
think it's really fascinating. Do you think that if they punch you in the face and you cry and say, "Ow, stop it," that they're gonna care?
Oh my God, that's gratification.
Yeah, they're not gonna care. So, you know what? I
Gratification.
say punch them in the throat before they make contact. That's,
Kick him
maybe I
out at the
watch too much
knees.
boxing. I'm like,
Kick him
Bob,
out at the
we
knees. Take him down first. Hellcat says that's going to be the loudest, most blatant response anybody can give if you choose not to decide. You have made a clear choice, made a choice rush. I love it. First and foremost, Claire is sentient to decor, and here Virgo. She's voice texting, guys, so give her some grace. So Dip, I'm going to hang out all by myself. I got your message. I understand what you're saying. Yes, I understand what you're saying. And yeah, and Greg's agreeing with Hellcat and Chris and everybody else. That's important. It is important. Yeah, just, you know, like sometimes you just got to go play in your sandbox by yourself.
Oh, for sure. I
Because,
mean, if you're not friends with yourself, then who can you be friends with?
and that's 2025 was about that too. You know, I saw so many people working on shadow work or attempting to get out of fear, which is beautiful because you don't live when you're living in fear.
No, it's a frozen state. It's we call that, wait, okay, so I don't know. I have it all written down in my book, and then like then the words leave my head. That's why I wrote them
Oh,
down.
God. You wrote them down. They're gone.
But it's essentially inertia. You're in a state of just a frozen. You're not moving forward. You're not moving backward, and you're just not going anywhere.
No.
You know, that's what fear does. Even if you're like mad, if like even if you get pushed into that gear, sometimes, well, and you can learn how to channel it and make it really, really productive. But if it's just anger and it's not directed in a positive way, then that can be just as bad as being frozen,
Mhm.
because you're just burning all the bridges around you and sometimes other things.
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
you know.
With us standing on them still. I am still on Facebook. Do I have time to go to YouTube? Probably not, Greg, because like, I mean, it's 7:15 and I promised I was going to get off early. Well, not early, on time. Because when Vanna and I get going, we get going.
Well, and I was late, so I apologize for that.
No, you had to drive. I appreciate you coming on. So leaving 2025, heading straight in on the fire horse to 2026. What are your recommendations?
Um, well, I would say find your center. You know what I mean? Because you're not going to be able to ride that horse if you can't sit on it, and you need to know who you are in order to do that. And then also, I mean, again, it's also just really, I always would recommend that people check in with themselves, right? Just be like, if you're feeling off, just accept that, but also go, okay, what am I feeling off about, right? And then you have the power to rectify that. And you know what? Give yourself permission to choose you.
Yeah.
That's what I would say to that. But also, and again, I'm late. Happy New Year, everyone. Yay.
Yay. I mean, we're sitting here. It's the I threw my phone. It's the what, the 4th?
Yes, it
Yeah.
is the
So we're
fourth.
only 4 days into the new year. You're not even 7 days into the new year. So you've got time to make these changes.
Yeah, for sure. And just because we have changes in mind doesn't mean that they happen overnight.
Oh gosh,
Baby
no.
steps are, still get you where you're going. And I'm so done with resolutions. I get tired when people are like, "So what are your New Year's
We
resolutions?" I'm
talked
like, "I
about
have
that.
no resolutions. I have intentions."
That's I call them, I have manifestations. Like I
For
have things
sure.
I'm going to manifest. I hate the
Absolutely.
word. If I was going to do a resolution, it's the same one every year, lose 20 pounds. Have I done it? Fuck no. Probably gained 10 this one. So now I got 30. It's like what it is. So why even focus on it? Because when I think about the brownies, then I'm going to make the brownies and eat the brownies.
I
Which
love
is perfect
that.
manifesting, right? Like that goes to show you, thou shalt not eat sugar, sugar, sugar. I'm going to make sugar cookies. I'm going to make brownies. I'm going to make, so we go where our mind takes us.
Oh, for sure. And
We
then,
go someplace different.
you don't have to limit yourself.
No,
Like you can give yourself like the thing that you're looking for. You just don't have to go overboard with it.
that's the key. That's
You
the
know?
key. Finding pleasure, finding happiness, finding joy in doing the things that you're going to do, and start the new year clean. Like I know so many listeners, so many of you guys come from other states, and I appreciate. I had 3 guys from India on a minute ago, well,
Oh, nice.
at the very beginning, and they're like, we don't understand English. They obviously used a translator.
Oh.
But yeah, but hi.
Yeah,
Welcome.
hi.
um but know that you've got to stay clean through the whole thing. you know so many people forget to psychically, spiritually, mentally, physically clean themselves.
Well, I agree. And some people don't even know how, right? And they don't, or they're so convoluted by
Mhm.
those energies that they don't even recognize, or it doesn't allow you to even consider that, right? Because I know that, okay,
Mm.
10, like, I look at things kind of like as like parasites, things that attach to us, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
I even look at trauma and
Yes,
cancer as like parasites. So I'm
absolutely.
like, okay, so how does it operate? And then I'm like, okay, so I can't feed it. That's all it is. It's like, and if you are going to feed it, you feed it in a way that's responsible. And but you have to know that that's what's pulling at you, right? And it's not going to, its whole mechanism is about survival in and of itself. So if it's in its, if it's against its best interest to allow you to be healthy, then it's going to dissuade you from those kind of ideas. It's going to cause resistance. Like if I had something really super bad attached to me, it probably wouldn't even let me talk to you.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, and so you have to start to recognize it's like if you start to reach out for like something that's wholesome for you and you know it and you happen to like it, you've enjoyed it before, and everything in you tries to get you not to touch that, that's a pretty good indication that, you know,
Right.
something else is in charge and you kind of need to get that put in its place.
Car doesn't start, flat tire, kids want you to stay home, things that happen that make you cancel your plans all the time. I mean, I have people all the time that book and then they go, I can't make it. And they wait till like 10, 15, 20 minutes before the appointment and they go, I can't make it. And I'm like, why can't you make it? And they'll be like, well, I'm running late. I overslept. I did this. I did that. Those are excuses. Those are things working to keep us separated,
Uh-huh. For sure.
you know? And you can play into that. Again, you hold the key. So that's your choice. You can choose to open that door and feed that, or you can choose to say, no, I'm going to get there through hell or high water and then do what you need to do.
That's for sure. Those are the two gears that I think you need to take, but also you know, awareness. So go back to yourself, read your behavior, be like, how am I, you know, what do I want and how am I acting in order to be able to accomplish my goals,
Yep.
right? And it's just like, am I tripping over the carpet here? Maybe I should move the carpet so I can get through the door, whatever it is, you know. But it's like, again, they don't have to be like dramatic steps, but you know, like I said, if there's something that you know that is good for you, but you feel a lot of resistance in going after it, then you know, what's holding you back? Ask that question and then
Mhm.
maybe start there.
Absolutely. Diana, thank you for hopping on tonight.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
It's always a pleasure. I felt like we needed to do a 2025, 2026 thing because so many people are having a hard time and it's just like we got to let that shit go now. It's time to move on. 2025 may or may not have sucked for you, but if it did suck, let it go. It's over. It is over. It is done. And the things that happened, you can choose to hang on to those and waller in that, or you can choose to release that, work through it, process it with help, and move on.
Yep, that's what we're here for. Me and Julie, we do that. We help people move on. We help people make changes. And, you know, if you are struggling, it is okay to reach out, you know?
Absolutely. Greg says, hi, Vanna. Yeah, it
Hi.
is. It is okay. DM us, reach out to us. We take clients online. We take clients any way we can get them, preferably
Yep.
alive, but I do take dead clients too. Um,
They don't pay as well.
they don't pay at all. Let me tell you, there's some life lessons there. Um, Happy New Year to you all. May the fire horse ride in strong and you know, knowing its path and securing your ride so that it's not too rough of a ride, but it gives you the thrill of a lifetime.
It's never a rough ride if you're riding a good horse and you can trust it. And you know what? If the fire horse is coming to you in 2026, you can trust that that horse is your steed.
Yep, absolutely. And I have a phobia of horses, and I hopped on this one. So, like, it's okay. It's okay. He don't have too big of teeth. The fire is the worst part. You don't have to worry about the teeth. My thing is horse teeth. Like, they're huge. I don't like, yeah. It's very scary. They rank up there with clowns and dead kids. Famous quote, not verbatim, but it's something like, a man who lives in fear dies 1,000 deaths. Yeah, because everything is going to kill you.
Oh, for sure.
Everything.
Yeah, that is one of the most accurate quotes ever. Like, whoever wrote that, like, I've heard it a billion times. I can't attribute it to the actual owner, but very, very wise.
It's true. And so quit living in fear. This is your time to live life, and you're going to find out, especially for those of you that have spirit guides or God or whatever it is that you have faith in. Don't just claim to have faith, man. Practice it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what it's all about. Anybody can sit there behind a book and say, I have faith. Mm-hmm. When it comes down to it and it's life and death, do you really have faith? And if you have faith, then you're going to jump because it's going to be okay. And I'm not talking about jumping off a cliff, literally, for those of you that I'm talking about making decisions that are based out of fear, trusting yourself, trusting your judgment, trusting that inner voice that's secure, that guides you right and wrong, and knowing that you're a good person. Take that jump. Know that you're going to be okay.
Or that you'll find support along the way to help you be okay. Like,
oh, yeah.
There's always people to help you along the way. You just have to open your eyes and notice that they're there for you.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a matter of that too. Recognize your resources. It's important to do that, and then figure out which way you want to go and head in that direction.
Vanna, if they want to get a hold of you, how do they do it?
I am with Triple Flame Healing. So you can go to our website and you can send us a message there. Our phone number is there as well. And leave a message. If nobody gets to the phone, we'll get back to you. And yeah, I do consultations, tarot readings. I do peer counseling. I'm kind of just sort of, what do you need? I'll see how I can help you. And yeah, that's how you find me. How do we find you, Julie?
How do you find me? I'm posting it. I'm on the internet under that profile. Whoops, hang on. It's really hard to multitask.
Well, you're doing it better than me, so I
got to reread because I'm kind of dyslexic sometimes. So there's my number. It's on my business cards. Feel free to text. Do not call me. I do not answer my phone for obvious reasons. I have I keep receipts. So when you text me, it goes in a file. I'm smart like that because I get some weird phone calls sometimes. So because it's out there nationwide, worldwide, you never know what you're going to get. So there's my number, and you can reach out to me, and like Vanna, I do readings. So we both do readings. I do shamanic cleanses. I can do them via internet. There's a lot of things that we both can do to help you. And a sundry of other people out there if we're not what you're looking for. So keep looking till you find the one that's best for you.
Yeah, we may know somebody that we can recommend.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Vanna, thank you.
Thank you for having me on. It's always a pleasure. It's always so much fun to do this with you.
Hey, I love this. I'm going to go cook spaghetti now. Spaghetti. I'm having spaghetti for dinner tonight.
Spaghetti's the best.
Spaghetti is the best. The sourdough garlic toast. Love you guys. See you next week. Same bat time, same bat station, 6 p.m. Appreciate and love you guys all. That is not said. That was not said flippantly at all. Not too long ago, I was lucky and kept my wits about me. An attack, let's say, I caught on video, super short, but Yeah, absolutely. Send it to us. We will not put it on air. I promise you, Hellcat. Promise you. And reach out to Vanna at Triple Flame Healing as well. And if
Yeah, I
you
want to
need
meet
that
you,
address,
Kat.
text me, Hellcat, and I'll get you her DM address. Love to you guys. Thank you. Good night. Have a blessed week. Have an amazing, abundant 2026. Love to y'all. Good night.
Good night.